I want to invite you to join me for my daily watercolor practice. This is day one. I've prepared some exercises for every day of the week for 4 weeks. So I'm hoping to do 28 videos like this. And I hope you actually join me in paint, because this is when actually you'll get benefit from this video. If you're just going to listen, you might get bored. So I encourage you to grab your paints, grab your brushes. It's going to be very easy. We are just going to be practicing some basics, some techniques, just to give you a quick sneak peek. Today we're practicing wet in wet, and we'll be doing circles. Maybe we'll turn them into fruits at some point. And we have things like where to find inspiration, how I approach this, different fun techniques like using salt and cling film, some color theory, lots of things. I don't know if I will stick completely to this, because it's the first time I will be following this routine. So we will see. I think I'm going to leave this page as like a front page. I'm going to start here. So yes, we will be painting wet in wet today. We will start with circles. Make sure you grab your drink. Oh, sorry, that was my chair. If you do grab your drink, put it far away from your water, because I'm sure you've done it before, where you're going for your water and you're almost dipping in your drink. Right, I'm going to wet my paint, and we will start on wet in wet circles. I always use the spray bottle ever since I started spraying. Because it just nicely wets the paint just a little bit. When I used to use a brush, and I would usually just make them too watery, you know. So I kind of find this like a mist spray to be helpful. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I used to kind of practice. Well, I didn't really practice watercolors. I used to when I used to paint, I would just try to paint finished paintings. I didn't really like practice skills and stuff like that, and my confidence was very low because of that. I kind of realized that I need to practice skills to feel more confident. I started doing that maybe the last year or so, and I'm already feeling so much better. I used to be so stressed about painting. I'm feeling so much better, but I'm still learning, so this is a safe space. I'm not an expert, so I will be making mistakes, but I will do my best to kind of help you and show you what I'm doing, and hopefully that will kind of inspire you for your practice. And anyway, enough rambling. I'll tell you what I've been doing. So this didn't work that well, I have to say. One problem is I am using not a cotton paper, it's like a wood pulp. So it's not a great paper. Basically, when you're doing wet in wet, you probably know that you're adding pigment to a wet surface. The wet surface could be either just water or paint, just like I did here. So the rule is that the color that you're adding needs to be thicker than the one that you laid down, like more pigmented. Otherwise, because that's when it will blend. Otherwise, it will create this like cauliflower effect. That's just you can also do it with just when you do wet in wet. You can also do it wet paint in wet water. So I just painted wet circle basically with just water, and we're going to do maybe a blue, one of the blues. Now in this case, actually, it doesn't really matter much how thick the paint is. I mean, no, it still should be thicker, because I mean the circle can't be too the water can't be pooling or gathering. So yeah, technically that's how you kind of let this blend happen. I feel like I'm a bit chaotic, and I'm not really explaining things well. Right, let's just grab my coffee. I'll calm down a bit and explain what I'm trying to do. Okay, I've had a bit of a hectic day. I need to relax. But yeah, that will happen as I practice, so forgive my erraticness at the start. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to practice is this blending effect. What I'm trying to avoid is Let me just show you on something else. So for example, if I use a fairly thick paint, this is quite pigmented and juicy. Consistency, what would we call it? Cream maybe? And now if I add paint that's watery, not to mention that red and green will probably create mud, but look, I have a very, very watery, very wet paint, and that shouldn't really blend well. That's going to create this like blooms and stuff. Although I have to say that cobalt green is a very strangely behaved paint. So maybe let's see with another pigment, with a different paint, which one is pretty good. This one, dioxazine violet. By the way, I'm using Winsor & Newton mostly, either professional or Cotman. Right, so if I use the thick paint, this one's not super thick. I think my problem is I'm using too much water. Like, look, it's puddling. I think I'm gonna have to mop it up a bit. But yeah, I definitely need to practice wet in wet. Wet in wet is generally very difficult. I mean, this is what watercolor is based on, but you know, a lot of the techniques. But it's also really tricky because you have two flowing colors, two flowing things, and they just flow however they want, and that's what really the struggle is. What should we use? Doesn't really matter. Just want to use a very watery mix, and then if I add it, that's not really going to blend well. That's just going to create like a mess, really. You can hardly even see the paint. Okay, so now the way to actually do it, actually I will need to clean my palette a little bit. I don't know where my clip is. I had this clip for this, but it's gone. What should I use? Should I use flowers? Can you help me? There we go. Pretty flowers. Okay. So as you can see, these look rather terrible. Can you see? Yeah, I think you can see already. Okay, so what we're trying to do is put some paint down, one that's not too thick, and then add a thicker one so that it creates nice blend. This is hard to judge, really. It's kind of practice, really, isn't it? It's hard to judge. Yeah, it's hard to explain how to know when the paint is thick enough. Like, this one is actually blending, but again, I feel like I still am letting this bit of water to gather, and that's not usually very good. I'm still using too much water, I think. This blended quite nicely. This one is okay, but it was a fairly thick paint as well. Okay, so I'm going to finish this page, and then I might try to turn some of them into fruits, but they will be very basic because I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. This is mostly just to practice some techniques. Okay. So yes, we can use lighter color and add darker to it, but we can also use darker color and add lighter. What is important is the actual amount of pigment, not the color itself, whether it's light or dark. What should we go for next? Let's use maybe some pale pink. Sorry, flowers. Right. Oh my goodness. Why is my paints are drying up so much, even though I use them daily? I think it's because it's the end. Okay, let's just go for this. This is more like, so there's like, there's this neat rule for naming paint consistency. Actually, should I just, I think that will help if I try to do this, but no, maybe with a different color because I don't have enough of this one. Okay, let's just talk about different paint consistencies. So we've got tea. I hope I remember all of them. So tea is very watery. Then a little bit thicker. Tea, coffee, milk, cream, butter. Yeah, tea. Then next one is coffee, a little bit thicker. Then when you add a little bit more pigment, tea, coffee, milk, even more. Then nice and creamy color, cream, and then butter is like almost like a pure pigment, you know, with just a little bit of water. So this one could be, for example, easily used for like a dry brush technique. So yeah, this is sort of, I wonder why they're a little bit patchy. I think it might be from, because actually like grease from your fingers creates this barrier on the paper. So sometimes if you have just some random places where paint just didn't adhere for some reason, sometimes that could be the reason as well. Especially I've noticed that with like when I'm painting on just like scrap pieces of paper, and then I like touch them too much and move them around, and I'm like, oh, oops, my fingers were here. Okay, so I'll paint a few more and then we'll move on to some fruits and stuff. Okay, what do I feel like I need to practice? Oh yeah, so if I just show you the ones that I'm not trying to do. So this effect can be used for other things as well, but generally it's, unless used intentionally, it's kind of doesn't really look that well. Like blending is usually something that's more appealing. Look, it looks more appealing. That's normally what we try to do. Another way to do it, we don't have to like add the paint. We could also just touch the circles together. Let's do that. Let's just go for, oh, of course I didn't clean my brush very well. I really need to start using 2 jars, I think, especially when I'm handling yellow. It's gonna be green yellow, but that's okay. So we're going to do this and maybe something, maybe one of the pinks, Rose Madder. So I need to make sure that this one is also like thick enough, otherwise it will also create this like barrier. So I'm just going to, oh, there we go, already touched it, so this will flow in here. What I was trying to do, but I messed up a little bit, I was trying to just expand the circle and then touch it and let it flow, but they're not merging that well. We'll see. Need to make sure the consistency is kind of better. What should we do? Should I do watery one and then add it to the, no, the other way around, hang on, watery one and add the thick one, or thick one and add, let's just do both. I don't even know what I'm saying. Right, let's go with the watery one. So watery mix, but I don't want to let it I don't want like beads like this to form, because those are unpredictable. That's not what I'm trying to work with. I just want just pure clean wash. Okay, and then I'm going to add a bit thicker and let it merge together. There we go. Yeah, so this will flow. The watery one is flowing to the thicker one. So if I do it the other way around, then it's going to go the other direction. Let's just test this out. So a thick mix. Why do I deposit so much water? I need to try to fix that, because I feel like I'm just using too much water in my watercolors. That's always been my struggle when I was starting, but I didn't realize how much I'm still doing it. So I'm gonna go for something watery now. Let it touch. No, it's still flowing. This one flowing to this one. I wonder if it's. I'm not sure actually. Shouldn't this one be flowing to this one? Well, the problem also is with the paper. If I had cotton paper, it would, like cellulose and like wood pulp paper, they don't hold water as well. They kind of dry a bit faster, so they're a bit more tricky to use. So I will have some challenges, but just gonna have to work with it. I do have a cotton paper, but it's a hot press, and I struggle with hot press for some reason. Don't know why. So I decided to use this one instead. Where shall we go? I feel like pink will be nice with this one. Okay, there we go. So after this, a bit more fun, I'm going to turn them into some fruits. I really like this transition, very nice. So this one was way more watery than this one, and it's really spreading. Okay, I'm gonna have to let this dry, and I'll be back when I'm painting some fruits. So these are now dry. Something went wrong here. This one didn't really blend that well. I mean, generally, yeah, I definitely need to practice more. I think better paper would probably help as well, but not to worry. I mean, after all, I'm just practicing. I'm not trying to create a masterpiece. I definitely won't be able to. Let's just paint some tomatoes. I want to paint them in two ways. One, I'm going to use a very watery mix, and then I'm just going to add a thicker one. Haven't really decided on my colors. Should we go for cadmium red? Let's see how cadmium red does. So I'm going to use probably like what consistency? Like milk consistency. Tea, coffee, milk, cream, butter. Yeah, like a maybe milk consistency. And I'm just going to drop it in a few places. Let it spread. Oh, I was going to leave a highlight, but I wanted it here. I've randomly left a highlight here. So yeah, I think I'm using too much water. This is going badly. I might have to rethink the paper I'm using, but let's just go with it. What can I do to fix it? I really don't like how it's merging. You know what? Let's just leave it. Maybe I'll layer later. Okay, let's try a different way now. This time I'm going to start with like milk consistency. I'm going to paint kind of like a tomato shape. Should have already done this dip as well. I leave a bit of a highlight. Oh, I didn't. I went right over it. Okay, and now I want to add some yellow. So I need to make sure that it's thick enough. Now the problem is my yellow is a little green, but we'll see. Just drop it in a few places. Oh, this is drying here already because it's long paper. Should we just leave it like that? I think so. Okay. Now while this is drying, should we try some strawberries maybe? Actually, I think what I want to do, I want to just carry on with tomatoes. But this time, I will do like a blurred edge. I will try to do it a bit more kind of expressive, I guess. Don't know how that will work out. Right, I just want to kind of blur some of it. Is this going to work? And then let's drop darker mix. No, not alizarin crimson. Actually, I could add a little bit of alizarin crimson. Why not? There we go. That's actually a nice color. So I need to try to make sure it's thicker. And I'll bit of yellow too. That's not really looking very well, is it? I don't know where I was going with this one, but okay. Let's just add some leaves. Bit darker, maybe something like this. So this is still wet, so I will start with this one. Just going to add a bit of a leaf. Maybe add a bit of yellow to it. What I should have done is maybe softened the leaves. I think I will actually go in with this one. Okay, I will actually, even though it's still wet, let's just go. Kind of doesn't really look like a tomato leaf that much, but I don't really like this. Don't know where I was going with it, but hey, it's a practice. And what I'm thinking to do is add a bit more darkness still. I don't know if I have time. I probably would with the cotton paper, but we'll see. Just add a little bit here. This one turned out horribly. This one would be okay if it wasn't for this weirdness here. But it could be a part of a few tomatoes, I guess. I do like how this spread now on the bottom. Could I actually add to this one as well? Might be too late, but hey, why not? Let's just... There we go. It's a little bit watery. So yeah, it's not blending magnificently. Right, let's just add some leaves. Now this is still wet, so it's going to blend. It might blend a bit too much, but I do want it to blend a little. Okay, so that will do for now. That's my daily practice for today. What we've learned, I need to practice much more. So I'll see you in the next one. Happy painting!